Welcome to my channel again this week. Thank you for joining me. If you've been here before, thank you for coming back again. If you've subscribed, thank you very much. If you haven't, please click the little red box below. All it means is you'll see a little red light next to my name to know when I have a new video. That's all it is. You can completely ignore it should you wish. Although I would obviously hope you don't. But anyway, so yes, this week it's been a busy week. I have a lot going on in my real life with my family. I have a big family, so there's always quite a lot going on. In my writing life, I yesterday wrote the end, so you don't actually see that in a book, but I finished writing the first draft of my 30th book. So when I told my son, he said to me, "How does it feel?" And I said, "I don't actually know, because all I think about is right now I've got to start the reading through it to then make any adjustments before I submit it to my publisher." So to me it's, yay, I finished it, but I know I have to read through it and tighten it up just a little bit before I send it off. I also realised earlier this week, I don't often look at my memories on Facebook, but I happened to look on the 10th, so 2 days ago from when I'm recording this, and in 2021, I posted that I just finished writing my 20th book, which means that in the last exactly 3 years, I've written 10 books. I'm not quite sure how that happened. Probably because I have very little life other than writing. I need to get more of a life, I think. So the book I have just finished writing is the third book in my Hollyhock Farm series. And excitingly enough, for me at least, on Saturday, it will be publication day for this book, Second Chances, A Hollyhock Farm. This is the second book in the series. This is Zach and Melody's story, and this is the first book in the series. I love these covers, aren't they gorgeous? I love writing about a farm. I grew up next to a farm and had wonderful, wonderful memories of it. So I sort of remember those, which helps. There's a lot of farms near where I live. I live in the northwest of the island of Jersey. So it's probably not by other places' standards, but by our standards, it's quite sort of wild out here. You have what's known as the 5 Mile Road, which is along St. Juan's Beach, St. Juan's Bay, and there are sand dunes, very few buildings there, and old Jersey pines, a few of those are left. Obviously some bunkers from the war. There's part of Hitler's Atlantic Wall along the bay, which protects our bay, which is great, and it's a beautiful place to live. And from my house, I can see the sea from every upstairs room because it's quite high. And I live close to 2 beaches. I go down one hill to one beach and one hill to a different beach. So I love living here and I love writing about it. And obviously that's what I sort of channel, I suppose, when I write these books. So yes, so this book is out on Saturday, 16th of November. And I have no idea what the third book is called. So the first book is Letty. She comes back to the island to help run her parents' farm. Due to ill health, her father's had to retire early, basically, and her parents want to go travelling. So she comes back from a life in fashion, and her life obviously takes a very different turn, and she asks to be able to give them the chance to run the family farm. She's never shown interest before. And also, this is an enemies to lovers romance, actually a second chances romance. The new vet in the village, Brodie Murray, has just come back to the island as well, taken over the local practice. And he doesn't remember Letty, but she remembers him for quite an embarrassing reason from when they were both younger. And the second book is Zach and Melody's story. This is the one that's out on Saturday. Zach is a sound engineer, so he's away on tour with groups and that around the world quite a lot. Melody is a yoga teacher from Edinburgh, and she's had rather a difficult time in her life. And she comes to the island with her grandmother Patsy, a really big character. And they decide to camp here for a couple of weeks, decide actually it's not for them. They've never really camped before. And Letty's mum, Lindy, on the farm, hears about them and invites them to come and stay on the farm. And they're just introducing the farm to travellers, so they come and help work on the farm for being able to stay in the attic at the farmhouse. And the third book, the one I've just written, the first draft of, is Joe. He's a firefighter who we actually see in book 1. And he lived in France for a while. His mother lived over there for a while, but he's been back in the island for a few years. And it's his story with Skye. She's a lovely girl who actually knows Melody. And Letty actually needs their help for some reason. And Melody tells Skye about this place in Jersey. Why don't you go over there for a few months and help out on the farm while they need you? And she does, assuming she'll be the only one doing it, not realising this other chap thinks he's the only one running it. So her and Joe get off to a rocky start. But for trope-wise, that's forced proximity, like close proximity. Yes, yeah, friends to lovers, I guess. So yeah, I've really enjoyed writing this series. I'm starting on a new book very shortly once this one is delivered. And my editor and I haven't quite decided which one to write next, so that'll be interesting. I also have structural edits that I urgently need to get on to for my next HarperCollins book, my 2025 HarperCollins book. And that's going to take quite a lot of thought because that book is slightly out, well, it is different to anything I've written before, although it's similar in certain ways. So for example, I've talked about that in previous videos. It's a time slip and it's set during the Jersey occupation in 1943 on the island, and also the English Civil War, but obviously in Jersey, and how that was happening between a privateer, an ex-privateer, and a very handsome young guy called Xavier. And Ivy is her name at the moment. I might change her name. Her mother is a witch and she's never wanted to have anything to do with all that, but things happen and she might have to make a few choices about her life that she hadn't expected to. So that's what I've got to work on as soon as I deliver this first draft to my editor. So there's a lot going on. My daughter was actually saying to me, you know, where do you get how do you start when you write a first draft of a book? And I said, basically, I just come up with an idea and I need characters, and I need characters' names, weirdly enough. I need to know the character's job, what role they have, and I need to know my basic arc. So looking at tropes, is this a friends to lovers story? Is this an enemies to lovers story? Is this a second chances story? Is this so many of those different things? A quest story? Has somebody got a quest that they need to take the journey on, basically, to come to the end of a quest? And I basically want to decide what will the conflict be, what are my characters aiming for, and what is going to stop them from getting that, what is going to hinder their progress, and what external conflict am I going to have, and what internal conflict is the character going to have. So there are an awful lot of things that I think about before I actually start writing, and once I've decided those things, I just get on and start writing that first draft. And it can go off on slightly different tangents because as I write, I slowly get to know my characters better. And whereas I might have thought, oh, I'm going to write this and get this to happen to the character or whatever, and them to react in such and such a way, as I get to know my characters and as they become more fully formed, I realise that character wouldn't actually react in that way. So it actually might take me down a different route than I actually expected it to go. So it can be a bit of a slog. It can be very exciting. I mean, with all the things happening in the world this last week, with the elections in America and all the bad and sad news all over the place, I'm very grateful that I live in a world that is, most of my day is spent in a fictional world, and that's great because I have control over that fictional world, and it's a very safe place to be, actually. So I am very grateful for that. And yes, so that's what I'm doing at the moment. That's my busy week. I do have lots of other things going on and quite a few things planned. So lots of exciting things happening. I have a few more author interviews for those of you who have enjoyed the ones that I've done so far. I'm in talks with other authors to interview them for future weeks here on my channel. And yes, lots happening. But right now I really need to get on and start reading through this book that I've only just finished writing, and hope that when I read it I don't think, what on earth is this garbage? So I'm hoping that I actually like it. I think I will, because I do like the characters and I did like what happened with them and that sort of thing. But I know I'll discover places where I need more to happen or less to happen, or, you know, put more depth in or something. So that's what I'll be doing for the next few days, at least, maybe a week. So I shall wish you a very happy day. It's Wednesday today. No, it isn't. It's Tuesday. Oh, gosh, I don't know where I am. And hope you have a lovely day. Hope the weather is nice where you are. It's very grey here. It's extremely windy here for the next few days, which means all the beautiful red and russet leaves on the tree that I see when I look out of my studio windows, all the leaves will be gone very soon, I think. But I hope you have a lovely week, and thank you once again for joining me. And please do subscribe, and also please do leave a comment. I'd love to hear from you. Thanks very much.